Oh hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Casper the Boy Diviner, and this is part 2 of my decluttering series. And I'm going to take my time with it because I do have quite a few decks and I'm still always undecided. I make changes. Between these videos, I do rehome my deck, so some decks might just disappear, and I also get new decks, so new decks might just appear compared to the first part of this series. I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys are cool with me going through these decks based on how I feel about them, and it's sort of a show and tell and my struggle of whether wanting to rehome it, to continue trying it out, or to actually keep it and use it regularly. So in my video, I did have this pile that was I kind of want to try working with it, but I'm really not sure if I can. And it so happened that most of these decks were actually pip decks, so I decided to go through my pip decks today and about how I'm working with them, whether I'm working with them. I hope that will be interesting. If you're enjoying my content, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. The newest one to this pip deck collection, which I am not intending to give away, rehome or anything, not at all, is the Uzi deck BruT Tarot. This was given to me as part of a giveaway on Nancy Texas Rose's channel, so thank you again, Nancy. I talked about this in my deck haul a while ago. And so far, I have been enjoying this deck. This deck has a few extras which I don't use, and they are like art extras. So you guys know what's going on with this deck. It does have a few extras, so these are the extra art cards that I don't use. Some people use them. I don't really know how, because they line up together to create an image. Yeah, they line up to create an image. And I guess, you can read like the lion's foot as something. I just don't. I am enjoying the deck. I am enjoying how the pips look. It's the normal playing card pips. And they have an extra C for Cavalier. So instead of Knight, they have a Cavalier. And then they have pages. And I like how the pips look. I like that the pips have some sort of texture to them. So it's been a really enjoyable experience working with this deck so far. I like the size, I like the shuffleability. I just don't really enjoy having to take out the art cards out all the time, so sometimes I wish they don't exist. At the same time, I do understand some people do enjoy reading with that, so that's fine. That's just a small nickel. I like the tuck box, I like how it feels. I do actually own a deck that is really similar to the BruT Tarot in terms of feel, in terms of structure, and it's the Arcana playing card deck. I actually like this deck, but I do feel like there is some sort of block with me and playing card decks. So for the BruT Tarot and this one, honestly, when I'm reading decks like this, I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing. I don't feel like I'm reading playing card when I should be. I feel like I am superimposing the RWS meanings onto the cards themselves, and there's no authority that says this is right or wrong. Of course, there is no wrong way to read. Okay, I'm gonna take that back. I think there are wrong ways to read the tarot. I think there are wrong ways to read the playing card decks, but I don't feel like this would be a wrong thing to do. If I am used to a system, I want to use that system. At the same time, I don't feel like I'm doing the deck justice, and that's why there's a little block sometimes when I'm using decks like this. I also somehow realized through the decluttering process that I don't really work with decks that are small. So these are pocket-sized decks. This is a standard playing card size, and somehow I just don't use them. For example, I love the Tabula Mundi, but the version I have, the mini version, the smaller version, and I just feel this, I don't know why I just don't work with smaller decks. I love the textures in the black. I love how in each suit they have the swords and the spades to prevent any kind of confusion if you're using this as a tarot deck. I love how intricate the mages are and the court cards are. So in a way, this deck is really beautiful, and I want to try to work with it. So I'm putting my mind down. All of these cards, to be honest, when I was looking through them before this video, I kind of have the thought to keep all of them and try to work with them as time goes by. So some people don't know what the difference is. Some people think pip decks are... Would you call a Marseilles deck a pip deck? I would. So I would call a Marseilles deck a pip deck, but not all pip decks are Marseilles. So some people think so. For example, I think I have a friend who thought the tattoo ink tarot, I don't remember the name, it's a Marseilles deck. It's not. Another example I have is the Labyrinthos deck. They have a Marseille inspired deck. That one is also not Marseille. Marseille is very specific. And the only Marseille deck that I have, which is also not a traditional Marseille, is the, I don't know if you remember this backs, which I don't enjoy. I wished it was just a simple black or flat color. I know version 2 has a much more beautiful backing. I can't buy a second version of this deck because I don't use it enough, you know. This is my daily draw and my daily deck, I might think about upgrading it, but no. This is the Tarot des Ozarks. So this is my only Marseille deck, because it is based on the Marseille drawings and then she recolored them. And I really do enjoy the colors in this deck. This deck is good. I just don't feel like, again, I know Marseille well enough. I've mentioned this time and time again. I do have Tom Benjamin's Marseille course from Tarot Summer School, locked and loaded and ready to go to watch. I've watched a few episodes or a few lectures and I just fell off the wagon as usual. This is why I told myself not to buy any more e-courses this year, but I still do it. So again, same with the playing card decks. I don't feel like I'm doing this deck justice, this Marseille deck justice. I think I could be reading it much better, but somehow when I read it, I just feel the RWS meanings come from me. Marseille is an older system than the RWS, so I don't know. There are a lot of things I want to learn, and I need to prioritize them. And sadly, Marseille and Pip style decks are not on my list in a way, or not on my radar for Q4. Okay, but anyway, that's the Tarot des Ozarks. It's my only Marseille inspired deck, or my Marseille based deck. I have two Trifoni decks. I think they are called Trifoni decks. So I didn't know. Again, this is again my viewers and my subscribers educating me. Trifoni decks are different from Marseille decks. They have a different tradition. So the first one I want to talk about is the Trifoni Della Luna. I really like Patrick Valence's art, but I don't like his 3D coloring or rendering of the Deviant Moon. This one has a more flat coloring which really works with my aesthetic and something I really enjoy. At the same time, again, I don't feel like I'm doing this deck justice when I read it. House Serendipitous, this Two of Pentacles being the top one. Yes. So I really like the drawings in this deck. I love the embellishments. I love the crazy court cards and majors. Yeah, looking at it and feeling it in my hands again, I do feel like I want to work with it again. So this is at least a positive kind of feeling that I get immediately looking at this deck. I guess Marie Kondo might call that spark joy. I don't know if it's a spark. A tokimeru, is that what she says? I don't know. I don't know if it's a spark, but it's a want to be better. It's a want to be better for this deck. Look at Temperance and her long neck. This is a beautiful deck. I really don't see myself parting with it anytime soon. The only reason why I put it there is because I really don't use it enough to justify keeping it. Okay, but that's the Tarot des Ozarks. I think I did a full walkthrough, so I'll place the link, one of this somewhere. Okay, I'm not gonna point again like an idiot to the wrong side. The other Trifoni deck, or Italian deck, I think it's an Italian deck, is my Tarot Perrin. This is a really expensive deck. Okay, I splurged for this, and I'm not using it enough. Similar to the rest, I don't feel like I'm doing the deck justice. And even though I do enjoy the aesthetics of vintage decks, I do feel like there is a, I don't know. I take a lot of pictures of my tarot cards on Instagram, and I do feel like the yellowish cast does interfere with my editing process. That's a tiny thing, but it does. At least it's not glossy. That's why I don't really work well with glossy cards, because the gloss really makes it hard for me to work with, I feel, instinctively, and I don't like how gloss feels in my hands. This shuffling experience is really good. If you don't know, you can watch my walkthrough of this deck. Even though that lighting wasn't as good as this one, I was trying a new setup, but it didn't work out. So I do really enjoy this deck. Again, I really like the Arabic numbers, but I just don't use it enough, and it was expensive. It was pretty expensive. This is by Giordano Berti, and I like his work because, you know, it shuffles well. I think it's a great reproduction. Yeah, but I don't use it enough to justify. And when I'm looking at it now, do I feel like that the same amount of joy as Trifoni Della Luna? I don't know. I do feel joy shuffling it though. It feels really nice in the hands. So I don't know, guys. Do you think I should be allocating a whole quarter or a whole month to a certain group of decks? I know people do that for their seasons. Singapore doesn't have seasons, so I don't feel called to do that. But jumping from deck to deck all the time, even though it's my style and something I really enjoy doing, maybe it's not helping me connect with a deck well enough. At the same time, I don't want to restrict myself to a single deck for like a whole month. What if I don't like it, you know? At least I find out. I don't know. Let me know, you guys. Do you have a batch of decks that you work through on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis? I don't know how people do so many readings in a day as well. Like, I don't have so many questions. I usually get a daily guidance thing. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. When people tell me they read a lot, I get a bit shocked because I don't know what to ask. I don't know if I want to know all the answers that I have questions to also. Yeah, just let me know how your process is, how you work with multiple decks in a month. What questions do you ask? What kind of readings do you do for yourself? I do read for clients, but I don't like using decks that I don't feel connected to for my clients. I have very specific decks that I choose for my clients because they are tried and tested. I know they work. Okay, my last pip deck is one of my first decks, and I do love the imagery. It's why I bought it in the first place. It's the Marigold Tarot. This is really an old version. I think they have changed how the box works. This is a two-piece box. I don't know what else she has changed, but I think there's a hurdle here because of my inability to work with it when I got it. For the first 2 months, I used it and I couldn't read with it. That time, I was still pretty new to the tarot, I guess. Not well enough to really read with this deck. And there were small niggles here and there that I wasn't happy with. Like, I really don't like some of the imagery here. I love this imagery, for example. This one, I can give or take. So this is one of that I really don't gel with, and I don't really like the Chariot is the worst card in this deck. I really love the Swords and the Cups in this deck, though. They really work with me. It's the Wands. It's the Wands that really I don't connect with. Swords and Cups are perfect. Yeah, I do enjoy this deck, and there is a sense of nostalgia because this was one of the first Kickstarter decks that I backed. So I backed the Personal Space Tarot deck and this one. It does have that sense of sentimentality that is rare to cultivate because it takes years in a way. It's something you did long time ago, meaning something to you now, you know. Yeah, I don't know if I can bear to let this go. I really toyed with it. I even talked to people about selling it, and then when those talks go awry, I feel relieved, which is not a, I don't know if that's the right feeling when you rehome a deck. But let me know if you have decks like this. How do you resolve making decisions? If you work a lot with pip decks, let me know what you think about how I don't feel like I'm doing the deck justice. Is that how you feel when you started with reading pip decks or Marseilles or Trifoni decks? Are there any resources that you use that helped you a lot? I think for me, it's more of a time management thing. I should really be pushing myself harder. But in Q4, I really want to set up my productivity system again because I've been so unproductive, which is in a way a good thing because I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself to be productive, to create a lot, to do a lot. And it's nice having a break again, but at the same time there is that inertia because I don't know what I want to do next. I have so many ongoing projects and it's not clear at any point in time what's happening, so I need to get that fixed first. That's my biggest priority. You know, I keep changing my mind about tarot courses, but I am having ideas about working on 1 or 2, so hopefully I can do that by next year. So you see, I have all these thoughts in my head. Yeah, but let's learn together. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and subscribe. People always dislike my videos once it's released, like 2 or 3 of them, so seeing the likes increase really helps my mental state out, so I really appreciate when you click that like button. So thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day and you take care. Bye.